Okay, class, welcome to week number 4 and this week's packet tracer assignment. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the final drawing on the page, figure number 9, and that's how the final project should look. Okay, before we get to that point, I do want to point out that you need to hover over your switches and make sure that the configuration remains the same from last week. Right, so you still want to make sure that all the VLANs are still assigned VLAN 1 or VLAN 10 against port 01, 15 against 11 on both switches. And that will ensure that you can ping between all the PCs like you should be able to right now. And that's a great starting point. So now what we're going to do, we're going to add the remote sites router. Remote sites switch, I'm sorry. So we're going to do switch P2 switch again, put it over here. Okay, we're first going to do the same thing we did last week. We're going to turn it off. We're going to remove these fiber modules. And then we're going to add in the CGE to port 9. Okay, and then just for consistency's sake, I'm going to put covers over these ports. Okay. And now we're going to turn it back on. Okay. Once it's on, we're going to go to config, or we're going to call this switch -03. Now we're going to go to the client and configuration, and we're going to go to enable, and we're going to do config T, and we're going to do, just like we did in the other one, host name, switch 03, no, B, lookup. And now we're going to create we've now configured this. We're not going to do any VLANs on this particular switch at this time. We're going to leave it just wide open because it's just the one office connected to it. Okay, so we're going to do exit. We'll do right mem, just like we did with the other devices. And then we're just going to close this for now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 end user PCs up there. 1 and 2, and then we're going to rename them config manufacturing dash PC1, and that will be 68.30.100. Okay. I'm just going to copy that so the next PC will be easier. 192.168.30.1. And the fast Ethernet, like I said before, that's an important piece that you don't miss this one. 192.168.30.100. Okay, we'll just close that. And then we'll open this guy, we'll go to the config, copy that in there, 101, okay, default gateway 192.168.30.1, and fast Ethernet 192.168.30.101. Okay, and now we'll go to the desktop, and I should be able to ping, because again there was no VLAN configuration, so it should be wide open, 192.168.30.100. Oh, never mind, I forgot to put the cables. Of course that will cause a trouble. So put the straightforward cable, we're going to put this fast Ethernet 1.1 to PC2. Oops, I got to change the display name too. I forgot to change it to PC2. and on 01 to PC1. Okay, let's quickly change that. PC2. Okay, so now we have our two PCs, and we'll just make sure they can ping each other. They should be able to. The Ethernets are still getting greened up, so they may not work just yet. You'll notice the orange is essentially the port is still coming up. So the port is still down on this other PC. When it comes up, then you'll be able to ping. Okay, and you see the last one works. So the ping works, everything's good on that switch. And now we're going to add a router. This is our first time of having a router, but the router is going to enable us to go between subnets and then between locations, right? So we're going to add a network device. We'll use the PT router. Place one up here. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is the same thing we did with the other ones. We're going to power it off. We'll change the physical configuration. We're going to remove all of the interface modules. Okay. Okay, empty modules. So we're going to add one CGE module in slot 0. Oops, I'm sorry. This is a serial port we need in 0. Okay. And then CGE in ports 9 and 8. Looks like there's something a little bit wrong with the instructions here. Make sure that you follow step 10, but skip 11 and 12. That's reversing something you've already done, so that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to power this device back on. We're going to wait a second for it to come up. Okay, we're going to call this switch remote office 1. Okay, and then we're going to connect Okay, so now we're going to connect this device with a straight through cable on gigabit 90 to the switch on 91. Okay, we're just going to leave that alone for right now while we build the second. Oh, no, never mind. We're going to do this now and then we'll build a second router. Okay, so go to the client, enable config T. Okay, and we're going to go and configure gigabit Ethernet port 9 now. Int And we're going to do 192 IP address 192.168.30.1. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay. And now we're going to take a critical step, right? We're going to do no shut. And that is going to change it from being down to being up. Okay, and now we're going to do the WAN interface. The WAN interface is going to be on serial 00. So what we're going to do is we're going to do int 0. Okay, and we're going to do IP. Oh, 255.252. Okay, now we're going to do no shut again. Okay, and now we're going to do right mem. Oh, sorry, we're going to exit one more time. Exit. So we'll show the running configuration. You can see that there's an IP against 9, nothing against 8, and we'll just do int. And you can see this is 000. 0, it is down, the protocol is down. Maybe that means we didn't enable it, but we'll go back and do that if we have to after we do the physical connection. Okay. Now, you should be able to ping 192.168.30.1. So what is this simulating then, right? This is simulating a remote site's connection, right? So now inside the site, we have complete configuration connection. So maybe we had 2 other switches or 3 other switches, all of them connected to the same router. We could start to ping within each other and be all happy. So now we want to add another router, and that's going to be at the main site, right? So PT router, here at the main office. So we're going to do the same thing again. Oops. We're going to go to here, we're going to turn it off, and we're going to empty out the cards just like we did in the first one. Okay, and now we're coming to the bottom of page 11, and we're going to add the SS module in slot 0, just like we did on the other one, and in slot 8 and 9 we're going to place the 1CGE modules. 9 and 8 and now we're going to put slot covers just like we did in the first set of switches. Okay. Now the last thing we're going to do here is we're going to start the configuration. Okay. One second. I think I might. Did I skip a step of installing the? I don't know if I skipped this last week in last week's build or if I haven't gotten to it yet in this one, but we haven't installed the switch. In this switch, we need to install a card in port 8. So I thought that was in here somewhere, but I didn't see it this time when I did it. So we'll just quickly go through and we'll turn this off. We'll do 1CGE in port 8. I should have done that last week if I didn't. Oh, take the cover off. 1CGE and port 8. Then we'll go back and power this on. Okay. And then let's do the same thing on this other switch. We'll just go in, power it off, take the dust cover off port 8, put 1CGE in there, turn it back on. Okay, we'll wait for it to normal up again. Okay, now we're going to connect switches 1 and 2 to this router. Of course, those are going to be straight through cables. So on port 8, we connect to port 9, and a second cable from port 8, we connect to port 8. Okay, we've now physically cabled the device, so we're going to do the configuration. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the client. Oh, I got to power it back on first. I thought I had already done that. Well, wait a second, and we'll do the config, and then we'll enter the config T. Now we're going to need to go back and do something on those other switches still, but we'll come back to that in a moment. I wonder if you can guess what it is based on what we were doing before with the VLANs. So this is the main office. Router. Okay, now we'll go into the client interface. Okay, we'll do enable config T, hostname, main office, router, no, IP domain lookup, and now we'll do int s. Okay, because now we're on the bottom of page 11. Okay, we're going to do the serial port. Oh no, we'll do the gigabit Ethernet port 9 first. So okay, int /0. Okay. Now we're going to do IP address 192.168.10.1. So now mask 255.255.255.0. Okay. And now we're going to do port 8. And this is going to be 15.1 with the same subnet mask. Okay? And lastly, we're going to do the serial port. Oh, I forgot to enable the interface too. Enable. So no shut. No shut port 8. We're going to go to port 9, do no shut. Okay, and now we're going to do int serial 00. Okay, and we're going to do IP address 192.168.255.1. So now mask 255.255.255.252. Now, how many addresses does that 252 give us? Right, and that's why we're subnetting that way, is because the number of addresses available in the 252 subnet mask. Okay, and now we're going to do no shut. Sorry, no shut. Okay, and now we're ready to do right mem, because we finished the configuration. Exit. Sorry, I gotta exit. Exit. Show int. And you can see serial 9 is still, serial 0 is still down. Okay, and now we're going to do right mem. Okay, so now we need to connect the serial DCE connector from serial 0 here to serial 0 here. Okay, and that's essentially mimicking a WAN trunk, right? So it might be fiber, it might be something else, but in this case we're using the serial as the connection, just for simplicity's sake. Okay, so you can see lots of green arrows now up and up here. So this means I should be able to come here, right? I should be able to come to this router and ping 192.168.255.2. Right? Success. Yay! So we can ping between the two routers. Now, does that mean we can ping engineering's gateway now without any extra work? Let's see. Ping 192.168.15.1. Uh-oh. Looks like there's still a little bit more work to do, huh? And what do you think that work is? Okay. Now what we can do though is we do want to verify we can still ping the other computer, which we can, meaning this port 9 is still good. The trunk access is good there still. And we've confirmed then that the VLAN assignment is still right. Right, we pointed out last week that unless it says 10 and 15 on those ports, it's not going to work. So that was because we did the right mem that works, right? So now what we need to do is we need to put port 8, and we're now at the bottom of page 12, huh? Bottom of page 13. We're quickly going to just assign port 8 in each of the switches. Okay, and we're going to go to int okay, we're going to do VLAN VLAN switch access. Oops, I got the command wrong. Okay, switch port mode access. Sorry, my fault. Switch port mode access. Sheesh. Switch port mode access. Switch port access. VLAN. Now this is going to be critical that we're assigning the right port to the right thing. So on port 9, you remember, we assigned port 9 on the switch, we assigned a 10, right? So now we'll exit. And if this is all right, once that comes to green, we should be able to ping once it becomes green. Okay. Okay, so now we can ping the gateway. So the last thing we have to do on these things is we have to go to the other switch and configure enable okay, and we're going to do switch port mode access. Port access VLAN 15. Okay, now we're going to do right mem, exit, exit. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to go to, you can go to either one of the 15s, and that's because of this trunk between the two, right? So we're going to do command, and we're going to do, we already know we could ping 101 before, right? Which is on the other switch. And now we're going to ping just .1. And we can. So the pings work all around because of the VLAN assignments that we did. And we made sure that everything was good. So the only thing I want to do is make sure you go back to switch 1 because I didn't do this before. We're going to exit again. And we're going to do right mem so that we save that configuration. Okay. Now there's one last thing to do, and that's going to be the static routes between the sites. Okay. You have assigned the things and you can ping within. Everything works inside your two sites. That's great. And now you're going to want to make sure you set the static route so that you can ping across that trunk. Okay, so on the main office router, we're going to do IP route config T. We're going to do IP route 192.168.10. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to do the remote route. So 30.0. So everything in the 30 subnet on the 255.255.255.2.0 subnet mask. We're going to route through the port 192, route to the IP address 192.168.255.2. Okay, and then we're going to exit, do right mem. Okay, and now we're going to go to the router in the remote site, and we're going to do the opposite, right? We're going to do enable config T. I don't think I configured the name here. So let's just do that, host name, remote office router, no IP. Okay, and now we'll do IP route 192.168.10.0 255.255.255.0 192.168.255.1. Okay, and now we'll do the same thing, but we're going to do it for 15. So you can just arrow up if you want and use that same command. Okay, and now we're going to exit. We're going to do right mem. Okay, and now you're going to want to test your configuration. Can you ping from here to here? Did all the routing work? And you've done the right mem for everything, so everything should be saved. we're going to do file. Oh shoot, I said it over my packet 3, but that's okay. Save as packet 4. And you do need to submit the PKT file, so make sure you submit that, even if you have to use a zip file. Okay, thank you very much for your time and attention. Best of luck on this assignment, and please let me know if you have any questions.